Hi eBayers, it's Suzanne and welcome back to another installment of niche items, things you may not have heard of before. This is the September 2018 edition, so make sure you're looking at your screen so you can see what these items look like so that when you are out treasure hunting you will know what to look for. Okay, so we are going to start off with themed Monopoly games. So let's go over to eBay and take a look at what sells and how much it sells for. Okay, here are the results for Monopoly game, and these are the completed listings in USA only in any condition, because you might find these new. Now, the specialized games are called different things: limited edition, special edition, themed. So this result count of 7,752 is going to include more than just the special themed games. But let's take a look at how much they sell for and some things you could be on the lookout for if you are not already looking for this type of item. Obviously, we've got our outliers here with signed and rare vintage stuff, so I'm going to skip over these really high dollar ones because you probably aren't going to find those, and you would already know if it was vintage. If it was 1935 vintage, you would already know to look for that. So now we get down to this one that is a wood, it's Franklin Mint. So let's take a look at that listing so you can see what this is. And really the concept here is just keeping your eye out for any of these themed Monopoly games because they're collectible, and some of them are limited edition, so they may be about a certain city, a certain product, a certain sports team, and they're not made all the time. So the quantity is going to be, the supply is going to be low, which is what helps you get a higher price. So this is a Franklin Mint Monopoly game, and it's wooden. And let's take a look at the pictures here if we can get them. They're not popping up. But this is the kind of thing you might find at an estate sale. I have found these at church sales and at Goodwill. I don't sell a lot of board games just because I'm not a fan of making sure all the pieces are there and that kind of thing, but some of these will sell without all the pieces. It doesn't have to be 100% complete, especially if it's vintage, because collectors realize that some of the pieces may be missing. And you can also sell just the pieces if you find those, and you can, if you find a game, you can part it out and sell just the pieces on their own, the board on its own, the box on its own, all of that. So let me go back to search results here and let's look for some other themes that you can be aware of. Here is AC/DC, the band. This person has more than one, and this sold for over $300. So let's take a look at their selling history. Oh wow, they took a low offer on this one, $51. So that is rather misleading. They've got 5 available but 3 sold, and they're asking $333. But it's basically custom AC/DC Monopoly game. Doesn't say what year it is, what year it was made. But that's the kind of thing you want to look for. It's very specific about, the theme is AC/DC, the rock band. Okay, let's look for some more. Here is a Hasbro Monopoly Empire game. This is new, and it looks like it's different brands. So you can see Yahoo, Nickelodeon, Xbox, Puma, all these different brands, and so it's kind of a corporate theme. And it's brand new, and let's see how much they actually sold it for. $22. So let's skip over the new ones. Those aren't giving us the kind of results I'm looking for. In Atlanta, we see the Atlanta Braves one. Okay, here's an interesting one. This is definitely something you're not going to see all the time. It is a Lilly Pulitzer Monopoly factory sealed. Okay, so there it is. You could tell if you know Lilly, you look at that box and you immediately know that's her. Okay, and we can't see all the pieces because it's factory sealed. And it did actually sell for $249. So this is the kind of thing somebody would throw in their garage sale. Somebody gave it to them as a gift, or they bought it as a souvenir, or whatever, and they never played it, and you could pick it up for $5 and sell it for $250. Okay, and let's look at some more. This Franklin Mint one keeps coming up. Okay, here's a Pottery Barn. That's interesting. I mean, they just make all different kinds of Monopoly games, so you just don't know what you're going to come across. This sold for $224, and it is Pottery Barn. It says on the outside there, Deluxe Edition. You can see that the box has some dings on it, so no big deal there. And there's everything, and the pieces. So $225 for a Pottery Barn Monopoly game. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. There's another Franklin Mint. So apparently that's a big thing out there. I'm wanting to look at the used ones because it seems like these new ones are way overpriced and they're just taking low offers, which does not give a clear picture of what you can really get for this. So we've got more of the Franklin Mint there. Okay, here is Trump Entertainment Monopoly Board Game Collector Edition Factory Sealed. And this went for $190. And again, it's just something unusual that you don't see all the time. So Trump Collector's Edition, I'm sure this is all about real estate and you know, the big real estate projects he did. Okay, here is Futurama. That's a big one to look for on anything. This Futurama stuff sells well. And this was sold for $204, and it was also sealed and retired. So take a look at that. Got all the good information there. I mean, the factory sealed ones, that's perfect for a collector. They probably won't even ever open it. There's Lilly Pulitzer again. Let's see what else. Now this one I've seen a few times. This is the Gay Monopoly 1983. Parker Sisters instead of Parker Brothers. Ha ha, very funny. That one went for $200. So it's in a black box. It's got, you know, the guys, are those the guys from the Village People? Or I guess that's Queen. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's got all the pieces and looks good, but from 1983. So very rare. Let's see if it says. It just explains exactly how the game is played. So now you know about that one. Okay, so if you're thinking that the specialty Monopoly games are just the sports teams or, you know, holiday, there's so many different ones. This is just to alert you to be on the lookout for them because it could be anything. Here's South Park, which is a TV show. This one went for $175. So these are the kind of things that people give each other as gag gifts and then it's just never used and then it just gets donated. But collectors want them. Here's the Gay Monopoly again. And I found one of these, it was the black, like 50th edition, 50th anniversary one or something. It was Onyx edition. And I sold that one for almost $100. This was several years ago. So Yeah, this is a thing. Okay, we've got Batman. This one went for $174. We've got more of these Franklin Mint, Futurama, Trump. Let me skip ahead here, see if we can see something else. Okay, here's a Firefighters edition. That's interesting. Okay. This was on an auction. And this is the Firefighters edition in the plastic factory sealed. Let's see what they started their auction at. $110, and they got one bid. The bidder was willing to pay more, which is why it shows two bids, but one bid and it sold for 110 bucks. So the moral of the story here is keep your eye out for themed Monopoly games. Oh, here's a good one, The Office. I find anything themed with The Office sells pretty well. People love that show. It has definitely a cult following. Sold for $159.96, and there you go. You can just see, it's so easy to recognize these because they have the big red Monopoly on them. No matter what version it is, that's what makes it recognizable. There's a Firefighters edition. Here's a Wizard of Oz Collector's Edition Monopoly. So when you are in your thrift stores, at garage sales, and you're so overwhelmed by the board games, what do I pick? At least look for the specialty limited edition themed Monopoly games, because those are good sellers. The next item is flame resistant jeans. Let me give you a little bit of background on what these are and why they are good sellers. Okay, so let me show you a little bit about what these flame resistant jeans are, and this goes back to OSHA, which is the United States Department of Labor Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They're behind this fabric that does not catch on fire. So let me just read this to you so you'll understand why these are out, why people want these, and also why they're expensive. Electric arcs pose some of the most serious safety hazards for electric power industry workers. Arc, blast, or flash hazards include high temperature, hotter than the surface temperature of the sun, over short periods of time, which fractions of a second, hot gases, an intense pressure wave from the explosion, which is like having a hand grenade explode inches away, and shrapnel from vaporized and molten metal particles. Arc-related injuries can range from minor to severe burns, blindness, hearing and memory loss from the pressure wave, broken bones, or death. When a worker is exposed to an arc, the clothing they wear may play a large role in the severity of the potential injury. This is the 269 standard. This is like a law under OSHA. Requires that workers be trained in the potential hazards of electric arcs and the flames they can produce by igniting other materials in the area. It prohibits workers from wearing clothing that, in the presence of an arc, can potentially increase the extent of injury, meaning if the clothing would ignite and continue to burn, or if it melts onto the skin. Thus, workers are generally prohibited from wearing clothing materials made entirely of or blended with synthetic materials such as acetate, nylon, polyester, or rayon. Okay, what does that mean? It means when workers are in these factories or around any type of production or an industry where you've got these sparks, high heat, flames, all of that, they cannot wear clothing that catches on fire easily, which is mostly synthetic stuff. They need to wear clothing that is designed for that type of environment. So, FR clothing in the 269 standard. OSHA issued an interpretation memorandum that provides guidance for complying with the apparel requirements. This memorandum provides information on acceptable types of clothing and on the employer's assessment of the hazards. All right, now here's where it matters. it applies to us as resellers, because people working in these industries need to select the appropriate FR clothing. Clothing made from 100% cotton or wool may be acceptable if its weight is appropriate for the flame and electric arc conditions to which a worker would be exposed. As heat levels increase, these materials will not melt, but they can ignite and continue to burn. The amount of heat required to ignite these materials is dependent upon a number of factors, including the weight, texture, weave, and color of the material. This type of clothing does not comply with the 269 standard if it can ignite and continue to burn under the electric arc and flame exposure conditions found at the workplace. If they do not choose FR clothing, which the FR just means fire resistant, employers need to make a determination of whether or not the clothing worn by the worker is acceptable under the conditions to which he or she could be exposed. FR clothing is acceptable with respect to the OSHA apparel requirements. Now, one thing very important about this fire resistant stuff, it has very specific instructions on it that say do not use fabric softeners, do not use these different laundry products that can break down the fire resistant properties and therefore make it not flame resistant. So that's the company covering themselves if someone decides to, take their husband's fire resistant jeans and throw them in the laundry with a bunch of liquid Downy, and it, makes the fire resistant properties not work anymore. That, people who get burned wearing this stuff are going to try to sue somebody. So that's one of the properties on here, is that on these clothing articles, that you have to follow the laundering instruction or it will make, it takes that property away. So let's go look at eBay at flame resistant jeans. I just put in jeans. There's all kinds of clothing. There's coveralls, there's uniforms, but it looks like work clothing. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you jeans because a lot of you already sell jeans, or they're easy to look through really quickly and see this flame resistant logo or property on the tag. It's something you can look for very quickly and find. So if we just look at active listings, there are 1,938 active listings, and we are going to change this to sold. Price plus shipping highest first. So there's about 1,200 results for these. This is under men's clothing. Here, let's see if we change it to all clothing. We get a few more, but it's mostly going to be men's clothing for heavy duty factory jobs. Also, if they work on a farm or a ranch where they're going to be around fire, high heat stuff, welding jobs, anything like that, glass blowing factories, stuff like that, where people are around flames and sparks and where their clothing could catch on fire, because a lot of times the injuries sustained from a fire in an industrial workplace is not just the fire, it's the clothing catching on fire, and then it sticks to your skin and it burns you even worse. So that's what this is all about. All right, so we've got lots of different brands here, and I did include used and new because I'm doing this video because I found some of these last week, 3 pairs that were brand new for $7 a pair at Goodwill. I paid full price because after looking this up and researching it, it's like, yeah, this is worth it. They were all the same size and they were brand new, so either somebody bought them and didn't like them, or they didn't have the job where they needed to wear them anymore, whatever. So let's take a look at what these brands are. So we've got your established workwear brands: Dickies, Carhartt, Ariat. This is more of a horse riders equestrian brand. You see the Ariat shoes, jackets, and regular denim. But here is one pair. I'm trying to show you the single pairs, not just the lots. This pair sold for $140, okay, for a pair of jeans. So if we look closely, they've got the FR on them for flame resistant, so you could easily identify that. All of these are going to have some kind of logo or branding or tag on the back of the jean that is like a little flame, or it's red and orange. It's easy to identify. So like here you can see down here by the tag, it's got the FR in red. So that's easy to identify. Okay, here they are here. Area at Work, FR. It's got it again on the front, the FR, which means flame resistant. And there you go. Those sold for $140 for one pair of jeans that you might could find at your Goodwill or wherever for like around $5, which is why I'm doing this video, because who knew? A lot of times these are sold in lots, just they sell better that way if you can put them all together by size, or you can do a quantity and let the buyer decide how many they want to buy. All right, here is a Carhartt single pair that's sold for $105, and they are the Carhartt HRC 2 denim double front flame resistant work blue jeans. So let's take a look. They've got some different pockets on them. They're like a cargo. They're reinforced. That's what it is. They're reinforced across the front. I'm looking for that. See on the back the logo here, FR, flame resistant. So I believe that is part of the requirement from OSHA that the article of clothing has to be labeled on the outside somewhere that it's flame resistant, that it meets those quality standards. And you'll also see in these listings a lot of times, this one doesn't have, oh here it is, yes, it says meets the performance standards of NFPA 70E, which is UL classified to NFPA blah blah blah. So it's telling, you know, they got this off the garment that it is acceptable under these OSHA fire resistant standards. And also on the front it's talking about how they're reinforced to resist flames. So if you're not looking at the jeans, this would be an easy one to start with because they're so high profit. Obviously not every single one, but you get the idea. So we've got more Carhartt, Wrangler. They make a good jean. They've got a good you know, history of high quality durable clothing. You know, Wrangler is one of those brands that has good stuff and they have crappy stuff. Okay, here we've got Bulwark, flame resistant, a lot of 5 sold for $150. And then Tyndale, I'm not familiar with that brand. Here's more Ariat. Wrangler, again, now here is a pair of pants. They are, it looks like they're denim, but they are khaki. So Ariat Work, flame resistant jeans. And you can see there again, they've got the FR. So you'll know that that is certified flame resistant. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. I'm just looking for other brands. I don't know if Levi's has these or not, but you know, Carhartt is one of those work brands that does really well. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. Actually, let's just skip to all used, just so you can get an idea of what they sell for in used condition. Pass over the ones we've already talked about. So here's 2 Ariat flame resistant jeans, $70. So basically $35 a pair. And looks like the used ones sell in lots. But that's okay, you don't have to do it that way. You can just do a quantity and they can buy what they want. Here's 2 pair of Wrangler that sold for $54. And like this one here, I mean, this looks like a pair of jeans that's been run over by a car. It just looks very distressed, and not brand new, definitely faded, light stone wash, but there it is, area at work, FR, low rise boot cut, 100% cotton. And there's the little tag that says that the durability of the flame resistance of this garment is contingent upon laundering it the correct way. And then on the back pocket there you've got the little symbol for flame resistant. So maybe that was a new one for you. This one was on auction. Let's see what they started it at. They started at $13.20. Who knows where they got that number, but they went all the way up to $56. So depending on the size, this may be something you would want to do on an auction because, some sizes are hard to find. If you've ever gone shopping for jeans and you go to a retail store and you go to your section, it's like there's 400 different sizes and they never have your size, which is why people order online, because it's such a pain to go and spend all that time looking in a retail store and then they don't even have it. Even Old Navy, this happens to me all the time. I know exactly what I wear. I know the style, I know the size. I wear a short length because I don't like having things altered. I just don't want to do that. I just want to find something that fits. And you get there and they don't have it. So this is why people order online. So if you've got, definitely research the size, because if you've got an unusual size or a hard to find size, like the talls or the, the larger waist sizes, you can get more money for that. Okay, so put flame resistant jeans on your list of things to look for. Okay, and the last item in this episode is going to be empty boxes. All right, we are going to start with Hermes box. Now, this was on one of my videos I did recently on YouTube, and the person sold a scarf and a box together, and they got $400, which reminded me, yeah, you can sell empty boxes and empty bags. And so if we go to eBay and look at Hermes, we've got, these are sold listings for empty boxes. So like this one here, it's an empty purse box, tissue paper, shopping bag, and the care guide. They've got everything with it. It's sold for $259, basically for some paper and cardboard. So this is where you can pick up stuff at estate sales and sell it for really good money. Here's another box, a used box, $225. Here's some more that's sold on best offer, so we don't know exactly what they sold for, but you get the idea that these empty boxes can sell for over $200. Here's another one, authentic Hermes empty large gift box with tissue, and they're saying it's an empty box. So if you're lucky enough to find an Hermes scarf with a box, you may get more if you sell them separately. You just have to do the research on that. Okay, here's another one, is Burberry. These sell really well. Not as well as Hermes, but you get the idea. This is a fragrance gift box. You could use for storage of jewelry or decor. So they helped you out there to let you know what you can use it for. This is another one, a gift box, went for $35. These are some watch boxes, empty but with manual. Those went for $22. So when you're out there and you see these things at garage sales and estate sales, check it out. You just never know what you can sell. Look it up and see how it's doing on eBay, because money is just all over the place out there. You just have to know what to look for, and hopefully this premium library is helping you with that. Now let's take a look at vintage boxes. This kind of falls under the ephemera category, but I'm going to stick it in here just to get you to think about it. If you put in vintage box empty, we get over 3,000 results of sold items that are just old empty boxes. And look how dirty some of these are. I mean, things do not have to be in pristine condition for a collector to want them, because they're old. They're gonna be dirty. This could have been sitting in somebody's basement for 40 years, and this is what it looks like. So don't worry about that your items are not in pristine condition and with just absolutely no flaws, because you can still sell them. Here's a listing: vintage shot shell box, Peter's New Victory, empty, $985 for this empty box. Let's just go look at the auction and see what they started it at, because you just never know what people are going to collect and what they're going to pay for and what it means to them to have this. They started their listing at $500 and it went all the way up to $985 for an empty box that held ammunition, shotgun shells. Okay, and so here's a theme. We've got some more of these empty boxes from shotgun shells, and then here's one from a Lionel train. Empty box only, $560. Vintage Lionel train, Southern Railways. Okay, we've got some more shotgun shell boxes here, $482, $442. Here is, that's not what we're looking for. 1969 Don Russ Odd Rods Originals Wax Empty Display Box. Okay, what is this? I don't even know what the product is. Oh, bubblegum stickers. Okay, so it's kind of like the Wacky Pack thing. But it's an old box with bubblegum stickers. Sold for $300. Just a box. Okay, granted, you're probably not going to find all these really hard to find vintage boxes. That's, you know, that's going to be a rare find. But the objective here is to get you to think about things that people will buy boxes for. Now, I have sold iPhone boxes. Whenever I get a new phone, I sell the box because I don't need it, and people will buy it based on if they have a phone they're reselling, they want to put a box with it. Or it could be one of these used cell phone stores that want a box. It helps their used phone sell better to have the box. So think about that before you throw any boxes away. Let me see what else we can find here that might be interesting. Okay, here is empty bottle and decanter. This is Cincinnati Reds Big Red Machine empty bottle and decanter. So this is definitely a baseball collectible. But they've got, what is this? Is it liquor? It just says the Big Red Machine. But what I wanted to show you here was how crappy this box looks. It doesn't matter. People still buy it. See how it's got stains all over it? That's okay. It's collectible. It's old. People want that. People want a piece of history. So things are going to look used, and they're going to look as old as they are. So it's okay. Don't get all bogged down in my item isn't perfect. Get it up there. If you don't know how to price it high with best offer and see what you get. So let's go look at some other items that are current that you might be able to find empty boxes for. Okay, here's a Chanel handbag box and bag. This one sold for $138. This one down here, it's a empty magnetic purse box. And they've got all the trappings that came with it, the bag, the ribbon, all that stuff. $115. So that's one you could sell. Here is a Gucci purse box. It's empty, but has tissue paper, sold for $120. Also a Louis Vuitton box. These are the kind of things you're going to find at the high dollar estate sales where the ladies have unlimited money and they just bought all kinds of handbags and they saved all the boxes. So you can sell just the boxes if you don't want to deal with the handbags. Okay, here are some more Gucci empty shoe boxes. 6 shoe boxes sold for $49. Okay, this is not nearly the prices we've been seeing, but this is to get you thinking. Here is a UGG boot box sold for $9.63. Here's another one that sold for $12.75. So if I live in an apartment complex and people are always moving in, moving out, and weekends are a great time to go down to the trash and recycling area and look around. And I always look for boxes and bags because there's stuff you can sell. So if you can get it for free and throw it up on eBay, then why not? And you obviously would put this box inside another box so that it doesn't get crushed. So you need to factor that in with your shipping. Always do calculated shipping. That way you're passing this on to the buyer. You're passing on the price of shipping to the buyer. Okay, here we have some Tory Burch boxes. If you're not familiar with that brand, this is one to look for. This is Tory Burch gift boxes, batches of 10, sold for $35. Here we've got a Tory Burch shoe box, empty box only, $14.99. Okay, not hundreds of dollars, but if it's stuff you can find in the trash that looks nice or that people have discarded, I don't want to say look in the trash like you're jumping in the back of garbage trucks as they drive by, but the point is pay attention to what's being discarded. And if you're at a garage sale and they've got a whole bunch of boxes, designer boxes like this, make them an offer. See if you can take them, see if you can have them. And then we've got Ferragamo, which is a very expensive Italian shoe. Here are some boxes that sold. 3 boxes sold for $55. 2 boxes, looks like the same person here, $40. Here's the bag, gift box holder, ribbon, all that stuff, $31.75. So I hope this has broadened your horizons a little bit, thinking about how you can continue to wisely use the resources around you, because stuff gets thrown away, donated, thrown out at garage sales, taken to recycling centers all the time that's worth money. And okay, so what if you can find a few boxes to sell for 20 bucks? Let's say you found 2 a month. That's $40 a month, which is almost $500 a year you could make just selling empty boxes and collectible bags and that kind of thing. So hope you enjoy this. Did you know this? Would love your comments. Y'all, please leave me some comments so I'll know how I'm doing, because I don't know if you are just shy and not wanting to comment, or if you already know all this and you're bored. So let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a great day on eBay. Bye.